Marami ng tao nakapagsalaysay tungkol sa mga ligaw na kaluluwa. At ngayon naman, ating kakapanayamin ang mga kaluluwa ng mga ligaw. Ito ang The Dead, a Ghostly Encounter Documentary. At ngayon naman, sisimulan natin ang paghahanap sa mga kaluluwa gamit ang ating mga instrumento.
Guys, dito po may naramdaman po tayo dito sa may loob po ng bahay. Dito po isiset po natin yung camera dito sa may table kasi baka po lumabas siya dito mamaya. So, magtayin po natin. Set na po natin dito yung camera.
Ako po si Bong. Isa po akong kolektor. Namatay po ako dahil nabangga po ako. Sayang po yung mga kaalaman. Kasi nga po, namatay na po ako. Hindi ko na po naibahagi po yung kaalamang natutunan ko sa iba. Sayang po ang pagkakataon. Tulad po ng loans and repayment. Be kind enough to lend to your neighbor when he needs help. You are keeping the Lord's command if you help him. If he needs something, lend it to him. If you are in debt, pay it back as soon as you can. If you meet your obligation, you will always be able to borrow what you need. Many people treat a loan as something they found and can keep, causing embarrassment to those who help them. Some people will speak politely, bow and scrape until they get the loan they want. But when the time comes to pay it back, they will put it off and say that it's inconvenient and make lots of worthless excuses. If the lender insists on being paid, he counts himself lucky to get back half. If he doesn't insist, the borrower has robbed him and made an unnecessary enemy. All the lender will get from him are curses, insults, and disrespects, but never any gratitude. Many people refuse to lend at all, not because they are stingy, but because they don't want to be cheated if they can avoid it, according to Siraj 29:1-7, The Art of Collection. Collecting money claims, may they be current, delinquent, or bad account receivable, is a tedious, frustrating, and exasperating process, but rewarding. The art of collection requires tenacity and immense fortitude on the part of the collector. The collector's success or failure is, to a large extent, dependent on his personality, education, training, knowledge, and experiences. His appreciation of the issues and consequences of his experience. A collector can improve his collection performance by effectively using the basic tools of his trade, the accepted paradigms and principles of credits and collection discipline, the law, trade practices, habits, and idiosyncrasies of debtors. Collection, as all collection practitioners know, is really an art. The science of collection deals with the credit policies and procedures. The art is implementing them. The science and the art of collecting can untie huge amount of account receivables, thereby helping strengthen the financial stability of a company by infusing the company with its lifeblood, cash. The value of this look back at the basics of credit and collection profession is that managers that have the tendency to fall back on these basics when they face with a complicated collection problem. The basics remind us that complexity is merely a number of simple facts lumped together. Returning to the fundamentals allow us to break any complex monstrosity into a basic, more manageable size. Care has been taken to present the considerable amount of information in this chapter in the simplest means possible. Forces of collection. The forces of collection for a company that sells or extends credits are its salesmen, loan officer, house collection attorneys, collection agents, and the government in that order. The salesman. Matter to consider. He who made the main sale must collect. A sale is never a sale unless collected. Sales commission must be paid only on collected sales within the credit term. sanction and penalty for uncollected sales beyond the credit term, incentive for efficient collection of credit sales within the credit term must be given. The house collectors. Matter to consider: training, experience, personality, collection or knowledge and familiarity, population or number of customers, transportation facilities, habits, practices, idiosyncrasies of the customer in the collection area. Attributes to look for in collectors: integrity, industriousness, resourcefulness, initiative, tenacity, perseverance. Number 2. Good grooming, neatness. Number 3. Happy disposition, adaptability to situation. Number 4. Working knowledge, skills in arithmetic. Number 5. Businesslike, thoughtful, courteous, must have practical judgment especially in dealing with people debtors. And number 6. Time consciousness and management. Collectors' contribution to overall goals in sales and credit and collection operation. Assist in bringing in more good collected sales or loans. Contribution to low delinquency. Contributes to good cash flow liquidity. Controls over collectors. Surprise audit of collectors' receipts reports. Field audit. Rotation of collectors from the collectors area they are assigned unless there is a good reason not to avoid closeness and much familiarity with debtors. And number 3, attorneys or legal counsels. The time and advice of an attorney are his stocks in trade. Things to look for in an attorney. Number 1, education and training experience. Number 2, personality, positive character, and attributes. Number 3, reference, clientele, adversaries, and practice. Things to provide for in the agreement with an attorney. Scope of service or actual contingent expenses. Number 2, remuneration package. Number 3, expenses and allowance. Number 4, time and payment of the pecuniary benefit. Number 5, control over amicable and compromise efforts. Number 4 is the collection agency. Things to look for in collection agency. Number 1, length of service. Number 2, people behind the company. Number 3, finances. Number 4, manpower complements. Number 5, clientele and references. Number 6, areas of operation. Things to provide for. Number 1, scope of service agreement, contingency or per case. Number 2, rate of fees and taxes and in time of payments. Number 3, reimbursable expenses. Number 4, withdrawal or termination mechanisms. Number 5, confidentiality clauses. And 5th is the government. Accounts for write-off must be covered by an affidavit of non-collectivity of the collection company or the attorney who conducted the collection efforts out of the or through or narrating the collection efforts undertaken as well as any checking on debtors' properties, short of going to court to collect. Ang mga natutunan ko bilang isang kolektor ay mahirap kumolekta ng pera, lalo na kapag ang pautakin mo ay yung mga mahirap magbayad. Tulad ko nga, marami nangyari sa akin habang nangungulekta ako. Tapos nun, hanggang sa namatay nga ako. Mahirap kasi minsan karate lang ang makukuha mo at yung iba hindi pa binibigay yung dapat nilang bayadan. Minsan itatanggap mo pa mura o masakit na salita kahit nangungulekta ka. Yun ang masasabi ko. Salamat sa iyong oras sa pakikinig.
Mukhang umalis na po yung multo. Hanapin na po natin yung kasunod nating kakausapin.
sino to?
Maaari ka bang ma-interview?
Oo naman, pwedeng pwede.
Bakit hanggang ngayon naliligaw ka pa din?
Sapagkat hindi ko pa rin matanggap ang aking pagkawala.
Ano ba ang dahilan ng iyong pagkawala?
Isang masipag na empleyado, walang sapat na tulog at hindi nakain sa tamang oras. Palaging gusto mag-overtime, walang oras na sinasayang, at higit sa lahat, gahaman sa pera. Yan ang bansag nila sa akin. Nang dahil sa pera, napabayaan ko ang aking katawan. Isang gabi natulog ako nang walang kain. Hindi na ako nagising kinabukasan. Ngayon ako'y nagsisisi. Naging balanse lang sana ang trabaho at ang pagpapahinga. Ako si Isabeliones na gustong matahimik na.
Basic collection approaches. First, we have education. At the onset of the creditor to debtor relationship, it is always practical and a good collection management technique to indoctrinate the debtor about the credit and collection policies and procedures of the creditor. During the relationship, it must be emphasized that prompt, up-to-date payment of the account is expected and is mutually beneficial. Second, we have persuasion. It is sometimes referred to as collecting by artful intimidation, since its effectiveness depends on the creditor's knowledge of the pertinent facts, figures, documents. It also depends on the coercive collection action the creditor has chosen to implement in case the debtor refuses to pay his debt. It must be borne in mind that persuasion, to be effective and acceptable, must be done with firmness and in the friendliest atmosphere possibly. Third, we have problem-solving assistance. There are occasions when a debtor wants to pay his debts but cannot do so because of problems. These problems may be directly related with the debtor's business or due to internal or external reasons affecting his person and or business and thus his inability to pay. Lastly, we have coercion. Must be applied only when really needed. Any form of coercion must be valid and legal. When coercion is decided upon, apply it promptly, decisively, and to its full extent. Stages of collection efforts. First, we have impersonal effort. The collection tools used are statement of account and statement inserts sticker. The debtors involved are those expecting notice and honest debtor who overlook payables. Another collection tools used is notes on a statement from letter reminder, where debtors involved is temporarily financially embarrassed. Another collection tools used is these collection tools are used generally after expiration of credit term. The debtors involved is careless, procrastinating debtor. Another stages of collection efforts is impersonal appeals. The collection tools used is from letters appealing to first, anything wrong or anything we can do, tone or tell us your story approach. The debtors involved is honestly overlook payables. Another collection tools used is Pride in credit standing, reputation, sense of fairness. Their debtors involved is temporarily financially embarrassed. Another collection tools used is replies from this debtor are either by telephone, cables, telegrams, special letters, third-party reply. The debtors involved is loan too much, accident, or misfortune. Another stages of collection efforts is personalized efforts. The collection tools used is personal collection or collector. Their debtors involved is loan debtor who may eventually become delinquent or insolvent. Another collection tools used is telephone calls. Their debtors involved is accident or misfortune. Another collection tools used is personal interview and their debtors involved is fraud. Another collection tools used is personal letter to debtor, employer, or company officer. Their debtors involved are no intention of paying and disputed account. Another stages of collection efforts is coercive or legal efforts. The collection tools used is repayment, restructuring agreement. Their debtors involved is loan debtor who may eventually become delinquent insolvent. Another collection tools used is assignment, collateralizing, accruing debt, repayment proceedings. Their debtors involved is accident or misfortune. Another collection tools used is foreclosure or no intention to pay. Their debtors involved is fraud. Another collection tools used is legal action through an attorney and or collection agency. Their debtors involved is disputed account. Artful ways of collecting accounts. First, offer the debtor a clear choice of action to pay his debt. Second, endeavor to get a reasonably short payment program because a long one is bound to fail. Third, plan and exert psychological collection efforts such as an appeal to the debtor's sense of justice, fair play duty, or cooperation. Next, an appeal to his self-esteem and pride. You may also appeal to the debtor's desire to prevent his loss of will, reputation, or his good credit standing. It must be pointed out, however, that you should never let your own pride get in the way of your job of collecting debts. Next, instill fear in the debtor by hinting that he stands lose a lot by becoming delinquent and that you have out of court or legal remedies to compel him to pay. Fourth, look for vulnerable areas or an Achilles heel as a target of your collection efforts. Fifth, seek third-party assistance or the debtor's family, his friends in the community, and in his place of work to assist in your collection efforts. 6. Give the debtor a good reason to weigh things clearly and see things your way because this may positively contribute to either of the following. A. Build his reputation as a successful businessman or debtor. B. Improve his credit standing. C. Establish him as a solid, honorable debtor. D. Support his self-esteem as a responsible citizen. Lastly, when finally drastic or legal collection action is decided upon to enforce collection, proceed as fast as you can, because a debtor generally does things prejudicial or inimical to the creditor's interest.
Guys, ano bang pangalan niyo?
Ako si Captain Santos. In short, Captain S.
Hindi pa ako narito para makipag-away. Iimbitahan ko lang po kayo sa isa pong interview.
Okay, let's go.
Ano po tayo upang kausapin ang ligaw na kaluluwa na si Mr. Penis?
Hello guys, good evening.
Ano pong buhay nyo nung nabubuhay pa po kayo?
Isa akong may-ari ng circus sa ibang bansa at madami akong pinapautang. Isang gabi, habang ako namamahinga, pinasok ako ng mga pinapautang ko. Habang ako natutulog, ginawa nila ako ng hindi maganda. Dapat in-apply ko yung letters, credit, danger signal. Letters, credit, danger signal. Internal credit danger signals. A. Deterioration in cash position. B. Increasing collection period. C. Chart of abrupt increases in the peso amount of its receivable or as a percentage of total asset. D. Noticeable rise in inventory levels or as a percentage of total asset without justifiable reason. E. Slowdown in inventory turnover. F. Marked changes in trading or product mix. G. Heavy lines or encumbrances of assets on. H. Concentration on fixed assets. I. Marked decline in current assets or as a percentage of total assets. J. Revaluation or reappraisal of assets without justifiable reason. K. Disproportionate increases in current liabilities. L. Increasing bad debts. M. Rising sales, falling profits. N. Rising costs or as a percentage of operation. External credit danger signals. A. Failure to take a discount or prompt payment rebates. B. Unreasonable request for substantial increase in credit. C. A maternal account suddenly falls behind in payment. D. Investment in non-related ventures or business. E. Fast turnover of employees without justifiable reason. F. Problems or squabbles between and among stockholders or owners. G. Flurry of insolvencies or bankruptcies in the field of business or area of operation of the debtor or customer. G. Habitual issues of checks that bounces. I. Conspicuous consumption or matchmaking. The Joneses syndrome. J. Buying at big volume and selling of cost or at a loss for want of liquidity. L. Refusal to pay confirmed area rates due to alleged dissatisfaction. M. Legal trickery or subterfuge. Under legal trickery or subterfuge. 1. Fictitious sale or liens on assets. 2. Unjustified incorporation or change of business status. 3. Absconding with intent to defraud creditors. Trends in credit and collection operation. Outsourcing of backroom services like purchasing, human resource recruitment, accounting, promotion, advertising, delivery and credit and collection operation of businesses is slowly but surely getting to be the norm more than an exception. Why not give it a thought? Try outsourcing your credit or collection operation to a reputable, dependable, experienced credit and collection service provider. On the aspect of credit and collection operation, it is practical, economical, and effective in the long run to outsource the collection of companies' regular routine tasks like collecting delinquent, distressed, or bad account receivable to duly qualified, experienced, credible, and reliable credit and collection company like Business Assistant Credit Corporation or BAGCO Credit, which is now on its 50th year of no-nonsense operation, from September 7, 2014. The generally used and appeal accounts receivable collection efforts are the following. Number 1, in-house collection force. The seller credit company maintains the responsibilities connected with the recording, collection, financing, and the line of receivables. The advantage of this operational setup is that all the department operations, including labor problems, are for the company to handle or to worry about. Number 2, factoring, a kind of third-party financing in the country. The generally used factoring method is with recourse due to the quality of the accounts receivable sold to the factor. The factors fee range from 2 to 3% on the invoice amount less deduction and will collected from the company customer. In case of non-payment by the customer, the discounting company will still be liable to make payment on the unpaid. Receivable, in this case, a notice given to the customer that their accounts have been assigned to a factoring company. For a factoring without recourse, the company availing of a factor financing transfers title of its accounts receivable to the factoring company which provides the credit, evaluation, and collection services. Factoring without recourse reduces the cost of maintaining a credit and collection department, the uncertainty of non-collection and bad debt losses. The bigger spread the factor charges for without recourse assignment may allow some rejected customer by the seller company to be accepted by the factor. Number 3, organize a subsidiary to handle the credit and collection operation. This method is generally used by the companies with vast nationwide customer credit, installment selling operation like vehicles, point of sale, consumer goods or services like credit cards, insurance, HMOs, pre-need, cooperative, lending investor, microlender, is smaller organizations. The subsidiary companies' advantages and disadvantages are similar to the in-house of factoring companies' operations. Number 4, network with reputable experience, reliable credit and collection company. Establish the app with the credit collection company like Bako Credit, where credit information, investigation, collection, training can be sourced and stored to complete a customer credit application and forwarded to a financial entity who will give decision whether or not to grant credit. By this method, the selling company avoids most of the cost of operating and frees up the funds that otherwise would be used in the financing the account receivable. The company, however, loses control over the type of customer that are accepted for credit extension and loses some of the promotional opportunities. The fee to be paid to the network partner will be the form of discount from the face value of the sales to the customer. The third party or network partner may be a bank, financing or credit card company which issues a card that may merchant or seller accept as payment. The third party and the seller must agree in the sharing of absorbing bad debt losses. Private level financing. A third party with whom the seller company agreed to operate and conduct the credit and collection function of the company, but thus it is the name of the seller. In this way, the customer will perceive that the credit is arranged through the seller. The seller retains many of the proportional aspects of conducting its own credit function, but neither the cost of the credit operation nor the commitment of funds to finance the accounts receivable. The seller, however, does not receive the full face amount of the sale and may relinquish control of the determination of acceptable credit customers.
Anong aral po yung natutunan niyo po sa mga nangyari po sa inyo?
Dapat in-apply ko yun. ang kagayang buhay pang circus at buhay pa ako.
Ngayon, hahanapin na po natin ang pangapat natin kakausapin.
Anong ginagawa niyo dito sa aking tarima? Para sila ko'y katarapan ba na lang yung tabako-business ng dami ko. Lagi niyang nire-remind sa akin ang tools and aid in collecting. Tools and aid in collecting. In sending correspondence, remember that it must inform, motivate, or command the letter to pay. Tact and politeness are the watchwords in correspondence writing. Your correspondence may either be A. Notice or reminder. Characteristic of a good collection notice. A good collection notice or reminder must, among others, have the following qualities. Number 1. It must be of the proper size. It must be borne in mind that large things generally attract more attention than small things. In this regard, the size of the notice or reminder must be large enough to get the attention expected. Number 2. The message must be simple and written in such a way that the message of collection is clearly understood by the letter. Number 3. The notice or reminder must be designed in such a way that it will command the receiver's or voter's attention and motivate him to act positively. Number 4. It must contain an eye-catching output which can content to motivate, command, and threat the letter to act positively. Number 5. The notice or reminder to be effective must also be designed to make it motivate. This can be achieved in the physical design of the notice or reminder, or in the use of catchy phrases. Number 6. The color of the notice must be appealing. It must motivate and command the recipient to act positively. Letter B. Letters. Kind of letters sent to letters. First, form letters. Second, personalized letters. Qualities of quick form or personalized letter. A. Concise. Use simple language that conveys now action. B. Let the letter away out. This allows the letter to save face by giving him a convenient excuse for his delay in payment. Letter C. Use word in pair. Never insult or threaten unless you are fully prepared for a hostile response from your letter. Always highlight the main message of your letter through repetition. D. It must, in a very simple way, tell the letter how much he owes and when he must pay. E. It must tell the letters that he must do to pay his debt. F. It must always sound business-like. G. It must avoid sarcastic remarks. H. It must motivate the letter to pay. I. It must diminish the letter's resistance to payment by first, enlisting the letter's cooperation. Second, playing on his need to maintain his good credit record. Third, telling provided the promoter is processed with the third party, the content of the third party letter. The third party letter. Number 1. Must come from someone who has the respect of both the creditor and debtor, such as an experienced attorney or a reputable collection agency. Number 2. The writer must know what to do to collect. Number 3. Must be persuasive to compel the debtor to pay his debt. 4. Must be credible. It should never threaten the debtor unless the creditor intends to carry out his threat. Letter B. Telegrams, papers, SMS, or text collection. Writing an effective collection telegram requires good writing skills. Since the length of any message is limited by the cost of the telegram, go straight to the point when sending a telegram. Give the letter all the necessary information he must know in order to pay the bill, and ask for payment now. Number 1. Be concise and easily understandable. 2. Avoid confusing words. 3. Follow up, either by letters, another telegram, or by the phone. 4. Short, concise, easily understandable, and polite message motivating for payment. F. Telephone. Your telephone voice or the way you should enter the telephone is a powerful collection tool. A pleasant telephone voice can help in convincing the letter to come through with his payment. An irritating or insulting tone of voice may help it representative. Objectives of telephone collection. Payment in full or pre-ordered from the first telephone contact is the primary reason of telephone collectors. Pre-ordered goods several terms. First, cash, check, or money order immediately. Second, a firm promise to pay the account in full when distributed late. Once a letter has promised to make payment in full on a specific date, you have to achieve your purpose. Failure must be executed if the letters follow the limit of the copy. Payment in full on the first contact reduces the cost of collecting now up to the ratio receiving full. To find out the reason for default and, if possible, to establish a firm date when a payment is to be made. To determine, through appropriate questioning, whether future payment will be made promptly. To find out why the payment was not made, if such is the case. To suggest the customers with serious money problem that the company may be able to provide guidance and help. To follow up continuously to see if customer promises are
Nagpapasalamat ako sa labi ko dahil hanggang ngayon, nagagamit ko pa rin ang tinuturo niya sa akin.
Pagbabalik ang The Dead.
Isa akong businesswoman sa isang credit and lending company. Na nagpapetiks-petiks nung nabubuhay pa ako. Kaya nag-depress ako at next season. Dahil doon, hindi ko na naabot ang other goals ko bilang rector. Other important telephone goals for collectors include collecting more pesos, improve recovery percentage, increasing debtors' contact, reducing time spent with each debtor, getting fewer broken promises. The next one, do's and don'ts for telecollector. A telecollector must use threats or violence to harm debtors' reputations or property. Must use obscene or profane language. Must call a debtor at his workplace if he requests him not to. Must make you pay for collect costs to debtors. Must collect more than what is due. Must not
Magandang umaga, ako si Rizalyn Barcelona, nag-uulat. The 8 steps of a collection call. Identify the debtor. Identify yourself. Ask for PIF, physiological cause. Determine the problem. Find a solution. Close and update your files.
Hello, is this Ms. J. De La Cruz of Namunga Rizal, Batangas?
Yes, speaking.
This is Jenny Weiss of CNC Credit. This is a call to collect a debt and information we obtain will be used for that purpose. Will you mail your check today or do you prefer to stop by in our office with the payment this afternoon? Or want a collector to come and receive your payment?
Yes, good day. I'm very sorry for not complying on my obligations. It is just that I am on a business trip and I forget to update my accounts. But soon as I can, I will make sure to pay my debt on your firm.
Is that so, ma'am? Now I see. May I ask if there is online payment center near you?
Yes, there is.
Good, ma'am. Would you mind if you just send your payment through online? In this way, ma'am, you will not be hassled to direct on the firm at the same time. You will enjoy your business trip.
That was great. I will put it on my schedule and I will drop by the nearest online payment center in here.
May I also ask, ma'am, when are you going to pay it?
Wait, I will check my schedule. I have no schedule on November 11, so I will make sure to pay you at that date.
Okay, ma'am. To clarify it all, you are Miss J. De La Cruz of Namunga Rizal, Batangas. You will pay your debt on November 11, am I?
Yes?
I also get your contact number, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. 0946-748-1879.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Hey, ma'am, I have noted that you are going to pay on November 11 and I'm looking forward to it, ma'am. If you don't have any questions, that will be all, ma'am.
I have no questions to ask.
If that's the case, ma'am, I will going to drop the call. Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
What to do, guide? What will help to deal with common objections? Customers request copy of bills. Customer says, I'm not collecting my money. Differences between customers' payment policies and your company's credit terms. Variations on others' company grants customers special payment agreements. Claim sales rep give extended term. Customers request proof of delivery. Computer is down. Customers claim your missed or computer run. Customers wants to check his or her records. Invoice is awaiting approval for payment. Responsible party not in. Owner, bookkeeper, or the responsible party on vacation. Silence. Customer claims the bills is already paid or a check is in the mail. Owner Dennis, too busy to talk. Customer says, there is a new owner here and I'm not responsible for the bill. Customer says we are out of business. Customer says we're just filed for bankruptcy.
At ngayon naman po, susubukan na lang po nating humanap po ng huli nating ma-interview kasi nga po medyo gabing-gabi na. Natatakot na rin po ako. Ay, kinikilabutan na nga po ako. Sige po, tara.
Tungo po tayo dito sa isang bahay. Baka dito po natin matagpuan yung ating huling makakausap.
Guys, narating tayo sa kanyang bahay na kung saan nandito po yung huli natin ngayon. Mukhang hindi po lalabas yung interview natin kapag walang ilaw. So, papatayin po natin. At yun po guys, nagpakita na yung interview natin. So, sapin po natin. Hindi po kami narito upang makipag-away. Nice lang po namin kayo ma-interview. So, makupo po muna kayo.
Pangalan niyo po?
Ako si Dinky. Dati ako manager ng isang bank. Pinatalsik, pinapatay ako ng may-ari ng company dahil sa kapalpakan ko sa pagmamanage or delinquent accounts management.
Delinquent accounts management. According to Ecclesiastes 5 verse 5, it's better that we should not vow than that we should vow and not pay. Delinquency in accounts receivable is most often than not is caused by the negligence of commission and or omission of the credit decision makers and implementers in the intention of enforcement of the credit they granted to the debt. The elements of a delinquent account are: first, cause. Delinquency in accounts receivable doesn't happen without a reason. Delinquency may be due to internal and external factors which may be brought about by the witting or unwitting negligent acts of creditor in extending credit. Second, cure. There will always be ways of collecting delinquent or bad accounts receivable. Third is collect. After pinpointing the cause of and deciding on the cure, all efforts must be focused on collecting the receivable. The issue, however, is: are you prepared, experienced, and ready to collect the no-nonsense way? It's better said than done. Try it. Here are the following effects of delinquency and receivable. First, delinquency ties up working capital or illiquidity. Next, it disrupts and complicates business operations. It also reduces profit margins, as well as it slows down. Fifth, it causes personal and business failure. Sixth, it prevents the build-up of reserves for seasonal or long-term demand. And last, the creditor, if not a bank or a financial institution, becomes the debtor's unwitting banker, generally interested. There are causes of delinquency and receivables, and they are categorized in internal causes and external causes. For the internal causes, absence or insufficiency of a credit report. Next, absence of proper documents or simply the failure to register the debt documents in applicable cases. Third, poor or faulty accounting system and unsystematic collection efforts. Lastly, family, business, or other intersocial relationships between the creditor and the debtor and their representatives and agents. Here are the following external causes. Over-obligation on the part of the debtor or getting into debt regardless of capacity to pay. Oversight or witting or unwitting. Bad paying habits and practices. Indolence. Most debtors are too lazy to go and pay their creditors. Personal or business reverses or misfortunes. Dissatisfaction, whether founded or unfounded. And lastly, habits, practices, and idiosyncrasies of the debtor. For the next topic, here are the general types of debtors. First, the up-to-date. A debtor who pays on time and who responds to available prompt payment incentives offered because of the sound financial position. They are called a top type of debtor. Second, occasional delinquent. Most debtors become this type because there is no perfect matching of their income and expense. They are also known as a multi-type of debtor. Third, habitual delinquent. This kind of debtor must be the target of strict collection efforts to prevent his account becoming bad. This is also called as a lizard or booty type of debtor or a turtle type of debtor. The fourth one is the changed circumstance. A debtor who, for health, social, economic or political reasons, by law, contract, accident or fortuitous event suddenly cannot pay this obligation. They are called a familiar type of debt. Lastly, the premeditated delinquent, a debtor who, in the first place, should have been noticed and avoided, need fast, drastic, and decisive collection efforts. They are known as a crocodile type of debtor. After recognizing the general type of debtors, here are the general categories of debtors defense. First in the list is the offensive or aggressive. This kind of debtor's defense is generally used by one who is premeditated, delinquent debt, one who, from the inception for obtaining the credit, had no intention of paying at all. Next is the denying or evasive. This debtor's defense is motivated by the debtor's inability to pay with good reason or to avoid payment without good reason. Third, the defiant, a defense generally used by a debtor who is either unscrupulous or a habitual bad debtor. Finally, the plea for sympathy and compassion. A debtor who uses this kind of defense is either a victim of an accident or misfortune, or has been placed in such an unfavorable health financial position that he cannot earn enough to pay back. Another topic is the kinds of delinquent debt. First is benevolent. He does not bother about details of his debts. The next one is the honest but confused. One who did not understand in the first place the terms or conditions of this arrangement or obligation he entered into. The third one is the can't be bothered. This is a debtor who refuses to pay a small balance of a debt until this adds up to a substantial amount and then pay. The fourth one is the seasonal delinquent. Falls behind in paying debt because his business or cash flow slows down at a certain period of the year. Next is the honest late payment. He pays late because his own debtors also pay him late. Sixth is the chronically slow. A debtor who makes all credits free until they give more liberal payment terms. Seventh is the waiting delinquent. This is a debtor who uses superior's credit, which is generally interest-free instead of outflow. The eighth is the striker, or also known as consignment. This is a debtor who is temporarily overextended or who intentionally delays payment. The ninth on the list is the habitual discount. This is the one who insists on a discount when earned or not. The tenth is the tightrope, one who is usually on the verge of financial crisis. 11. The broker, or the man. A debtor who almost always says, "Do you know who I am?" and generally does not pay the debt unless put in an embarrassing situation or threatened with a court suit. Lastly is the vanishing ordinary debtor. This is the one who is not around on paying time, but is always around when borrowing.
Anong aral po ang inyong natutunan?
Dahil doon natutunan ko na dapat maging responsible tayo. Dapat natin i-double check lahat ng documents at tiyakin na maayos ang ipapasa sa kapwa natin.
Ito nalaman natin ng mga aral at karanasan ng mga in-interview natin ngayong gabi. At dito nagtatapos ang ating programa. Salamat sa panonood. Adios!